Looks like the live has changed a little bit since the last time I've done one. I need to do more. I was saying how everybody is so distracted right now with all the election, Kamala, or Kamala, that's what I really like to call her. Trump says a lot of stuff like that really good. Turn on your mic is not technical. Well, the mic was on. The mic button, which I've never seen before, was off, and it started off that way. So my bad. I am a tech tart, so my apologies. Now, I named it the incoming rug pull because I've been talking about when Trump gets elected, if Trump gets elected, I think that's when the massive rug pull is. And I'm going to go over a few things that I've been learning today, sitting down, reading, and it looks like it's the perfect scenario. It's the perfect plan. They can't cheat him out of it. I think it's going to be a landslide. If it's not, I guess I'll just be wrong. What Elon's doing with how he's showing the polls and the betting, have you seen that? The people are betting on Trump or betting on Kamala. And it's just overwhelming Trump. It's a no-brainer. You know, if you think Biden's dumb, his supporters are what really take the cake. All right, you're being lied to. So I doubt there's anybody here that's voting for Kamala. Is there anybody here voting for Kamala? I gotta know. I gotta know. I just gotta know that. Now, we're gonna start with the empire, the prospering empire. What does it take to have a prospering empire? Well, you must have a very strong and functioning economy. Do we have a very strong and functioning economy? A solid currency. Is that what we have? And a controlled level of debt. Not to mention the military. We're going to talk about the military in just a second. I was just laughing at some comments. I was just talking to my nephew that's in the Air Force because the Air Force has stagnated in size. And he said, yeah, that sounds right. I said, is it only a fraction of the force available for combat? You know, at any given time is only a fraction available. He said, yeah, that's true. Well, check this out. The Navy is decommissioning warships faster than they can build new ones. Isn't that crazy? Hey, Mr. Eddie. I catch one flick by every now and then. The defense industrial base cannot produce major weapon systems in the numbers we need in a timely way. None of these sound like a very good outcome for the empire that's ruling the world as we speak. Now, what I think is going to happen, what we've talked about before, and a few of you in the comments have had the same thought, the central bankers that manipulate the stock market. I can show you things. I'm voted for Kamala. We got one. Mike Hughes voted for Kamala. Can you explain why? I'm just curious. Is it a vote against Trump? It's usually what it is. It's a vote against Trump. Because, and you guys are welcome to ask me questions, and if I don't know the answer, I'll just laugh like an idiot. Okay, prospering empire, strong military, no. The Navy decommissioning ships. The defense industrial base cannot produce major weapon systems in the numbers we need. I was planning on working at these military bases, doing some consulting work. And it turns out they don't have any money. They send it all overseas. It's crazy. I thought I found one job taking down some airplane hangars. And for those of you that don't know, I've been a professional fabricator for most of my life, all of my adult life. And that sounded like a good job. Well, they're not doing that anymore. They're just going to ship them to another military base. It's like they don't have it. With the money we sent Ukraine, they could have given every enlisted person an $80,000 a year raise, over $80,000 a year. Is that crazy? Ground beef. What's up, Chris? Now, if Kamala wins, the risk of significant conflict is much greater, since she has not committed to ending war opposing Trump. You know, she wants to do the opposite. But I thought that was really interesting that they are decommissioning warships faster than they can build them. Much higher rates coming. We've got, well, let me go back. Alarming data from the labor market. I've been watching the stock market consistently every day. I haven't for the last 2 days, but probably for 6 to 10 hours a day, really watching it and trading futures and paying attention. The labor market, the U.S. economy shed 46,000 manufacturing jobs in October, the biggest drop since April 2020. What? That's nutty. You remember what happened in April 2020? Manufacturing jobs have declined in 4 out of 5 of the last 5 months. 4 out of the last 5 months. By a total of 88,000. In effect, manufacturing payrolls reached their lowest level since July 2022 and are in a clear downtrend. I'm starting to see that. If you look on the daily chart of any asset, look at Bitcoin, look at the NASDAQ, it looks like they're starting to be, actually go to the 4-hour, you see a lot better. There looks to be a solid downtrend on everything, except for gold. All this is positive for gold. It's not positive for people that have enjoyed the luxuries of living in the United States, as they have manipulated the system, which all empires do. This is par for the course. Go back in history and look at Rome and any empire you can think of and look at what happened. Clipping coins, devaluing the currency, getting in debt, going broke, they go bust. And usually they have a massive amount of immigration. That was eye-opening for me. It's exactly what's happening now. Now, they talk about these job numbers, but they've revised them. I've got an article in here about how many times they revised them. Stand by. They go back and revise these numbers 5. Well, I'll run up on it in a minute. But it upsets me. Okay, yeah. I already said it. For the 6 month, for six of the last 7 months, durable goods orders were revised lower. Now, I could go through you and tell you all the numbers, but that's going to be really boring. So let's just talk about that in a minute. How is the Fed or anyone supposed to make a decision when the data is revised aggressively every time, every month just about? 6 out of 7. That's almost every one. That's pretty bad. That's the rug pull. That is, they're doing everything they can to keep it afloat. They're doing everything they can, and now, when Trump wins, I'm wholeheartedly expect it. That's when you can look for gold to actually skyrocket. This is, hi guys, how much ATM is silver an ounce through you? That's a question for Stacey. Stacey, put your number in the comments and I'll pin it, or you might can. I'm not sure how much it is right now. We've had some really good deals lately. We'll talk about gold too. But first, Hemingway, when was asked how you go bankrupt, first slowly and then suddenly. We've seen the slower part, but now we're starting to see the acceleration or suddenly part. It's now started, and that's going to be the painful part. You remember the analogy of the drops of water in a stadium? And you think, man, they take forever, and they double every every minute. It's like 50 minutes. And the crazy thing is, you would think it would be a slow and consistent thing. The last 7 minutes, it goes from like 80% full to 100%. It's super fast at the end. It's just like going bankrupt. Thank you, Fremont House. You guys are the best. The Buffett's favorite indicator, stocks to GDP, is now at the all-time high of 197%. To put that into perspective, I'm sorry, guys. I gotta catch my throat. The previous peak in 2021 was 193%. That led to a 40% fall. 40%. My aunt asked me the other day, what about your stocks? What are you doing? I sold all of them, except for the miners. I'm still getting ripped off by the miners. I'm not really sure when that changes. I know I own some good gold and silver miners. I don't understand what the price of gold is doing and the price of the miners. It seems like they are just, taking the cream. They're just skimming the top. They're selling into strength. They're going to keep quite a bit of it, but I learned a lot there. I still don't regret it. We don't know the timing because the mine supply, we mine like 3,000 tons a year and it gets used. There's no extra. So we're going to talk a little bit about gold and silver. Stacey is a broker for Miles Franklin. She's right there. Let's see if I can pin that for her. There. 23.53, gold's 27. It's going to really depend on what you want. Browns, bars, or they've got it all. Get the price list if you don't do anything else. You can shop around with it. Nashville Pastama. Thank you for the super chat. 1929. All-time high. You talking about gold, all-time high? October 28, 1929, all-time high. Oh, you're talking about the Great Depression. Is that what you're talking about? Maybe so. There's a lot of things that are kind of going along with the Great Depression. And, that makes me think of Nixon. When he took us off the gold standard in 71, he said, I wrote it down, he said that your dollar will be worth as much tomorrow. Like, don't worry about it. Your dollar's going to be just as good tomorrow. The dollar has lost 99% of its purchasing power. But these politicians, they say, well, I wasn't wrong, it's still worth $1. I'm telling you. What if Tricky Dicky was alive today? 53 years later, 99% is gone. Gold is up 78 times what it was in 71. Nixon closed the gold window. The next phase is the acceleration. I was talking to my nephew again. He's been coming over quite a bit. And we were talking about precious metals, and he was wanting to get into a business, and he was like, do you want to mine precious metals? Wouldn't you like to buy a mine? I said, yeah, I would like to buy a mine, but I'm not really a miner. The best way to allocate yourself to a BRICS currency or real money, trying to get ahead of what's coming, is just buy precious metals. Not all. Don't put all your wealth in anything. You'll lose every time. But, actually, don't do what I say, because the price of precious metals could still go up. I just got through with an article that was talking about, it made a lot of sense too. I'll read you some of it. It was talking about how the people that have waited for the pullback are about to miss it forever. I don't like talking like that because I've never bought anything at the bottom, and I've never sold anything at the top. I still look for a small pullback But going into what we're going into now, man, I'm so glad that when Stacey would come to me and say, hey, prices are down, I'd go look at the chart, say, yeah, they are down. Let's purchase a little bit, vault it, and it's kind of hard to do, It's like I'd rather use that money to grow this business or do other things. But I'm so glad. I'm so glad I didn't listen to the idiots in the comments. Not you guys. I'm talking about one particular YouTuber that used to call me all kind of awful names and how gold and silver was a scam and all this stuff. And it's like, I was kind to him, as kind as possible. And finally I said, don't contact me anymore. I don't have anything to say to you, Now, the article I was going to tell you about. I talked about the strong economy. Stacey, the printer is doubling things. Buying gold. Oh, here it is, right here. Inflation, money printing mean weaker dollar. All right, that's how the article started off. And currencies in general, gold will continue to benefit. So as currencies die, look at 6E, look at the euro. Go to the charts and just look at the euro and look what it's been doing since 2008, since they took the cat out of the bag, since they really opened up Pandora's box. The euro's just dying. It's bleeding out. The dollar is, being the reserve currency, it's doing its thing. And it's really strange. When the stock market does bad, the dollar goes up. Strong dollar really kills other currencies. So you can look for the dollar to go up in the short term, but not if gold keeps doing what it's doing. If gold keeps doing what it's doing, and we're not even talking about silver yet. Hang on. Silver's really doing what it does too. It's lagging. It was explained to me by a guy at, I think it was a silver symposium. He was like, or maybe it's Doug Casey. He was like, it's like a little yapping dog. It kind of gets behind and then it shoots forward. Pew! That's why you play the gold to silver ratio. How many ounces of silver does it take to buy one piece of gold? Can anybody do that for me? What is the gold to silver ratio right now? Like to the tick. Because that is how you double and triple your precious metals holdings. That's what the wealthy are doing. And a lot of the wealthy people I know, I've met a couple of billionaires, and I know they're all about some gold. They're probably holding a bunch of it. Would you guys like to know about the gold? What would you prefer to hear? Let me get in the comments, because I've got a bunch of stuff, but I don't want to just sit here and read. BRICS will affect the dollar for sure. We're looking at the other powerful countries coming up with their own currency. In 1890, ratio is 16-1. Wow. I know some people that say it's going 1-1. And they're intelligent people. It's hard for me to get that far out. It's really hard for me to think about over 10% interest, stuff like that. I figure 10% is pretty easy on interest rates. And that freaks people out when you say it, but it's already baked in. There's nothing Trump, I don't think. I mean, he's a sharp guy, maybe he can. But the price of gold and silver could blow people's mind. It could actually, they could reprice it to like $122,000 an ounce. That sounds so crazy to me. It's hard for me to get there. 1-1 is very possible. There's less silver than gold. That is very true, and we have to have silver. You have to. The camera I'm talking to, the mics I'm using, the Asian session is, need to pay attention to the Asian session right now if you're trading gold for sure. Hey, that's a tip. If you guys are interested in watching the price of gold, look at the Asian session. If you are looking for a pullback, it'll kind of, if it's going to go up, it's going to go down. And a lot of times it happens in the Asian session. It'll go down pretty good, and you might be able to save a few bucks. I've never done that on physical precious metals, but if you get signed up with Stacey, when she gets all your stuff, you can call her and say, "Hey, lock me in right now at these prices," and it's like that. That's the only reason I mention it. Now, 1-to-1 ratio. What is it now? Ratio, Stacey Taylor, $84.29. It was almost 90. Man, that's still really good for us. That's really good for the silver stackers. $84.29 is wild. Considering Dave Ray, what he just said, 16-to-1. Somebody else said that too. What do we do then, though? See, that's the thing. Everything, I got to change chairs. This thing's hard. Everything is so, there's pros and cons to everything. And if the precious metals are doing really good, that is really bad for everything else. Like, if gold does that and silver does that, we're looking at some serious Thunderdome stuff. Like, you can have all the gold and silver and Bitcoin you want, but if you don't have goods and services and a good place to live, I guess I would just assume, like, my wife's husband owns a lot of oil wells, and he said, "Man, I just want it to go up slow and steady, just kind of go as we need it and just go." He said, "These big spikes, that's not real good." We have a big, huge spike in precious metals because what we're seeing is not it. This isn't the big spike that we've been looking for. This is just little bumps up and runs down. We're talking like double overnight. I think it's possible. The repricing of gold, any little thing like that, and if these market makers and the people that are in charge, the few that want you to eat bugs and own nothing, there's going to be a time where they can't manipulate it. When it gets away, when BRICS comes out with their stuff and their currency that has backed by commodities, it's like 40% gold. Did y'all see that bug fly right in my ear? It's going to be wild, man. I can't imagine what we'll be doing, what the military will be doing. How do you pay your military when your currency's garbage? Confiscation comes to mind. Electrical prepper, 500 ounce silver in each tomahawk. Man, that is wild. Where does the silver go? What do they use silver for? It's hard, and I've heard that several times. We don't even know how much silver goes in a Tesla vehicle. They keep that under wraps. But can anybody tell me how? Electrical prepper, what do they use 500 ounces of silver for? To make it expensive? It goes boom. Yes, it does. It goes boom. Well, gold is up 78x since Nixon took it off the gold standard. And he says your dollar will be worth the same tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's like when FDIC, when these banks start going belly up. They will. The banks are going to start failing again. We just got started, and they were able to open up windows and try to, do bailouts and not do bailouts and kind of, rein it in and put some Band-Aids on the economy and limp it along and revise the numbers like we were just talking about. The FDIC laughed out loud in a meeting. I put it on my channel a couple times, where the guy in charge, or one of them, belly laughed, laid back in his chair, said, the people have more faith in the system than we do. Ha, ha, ha. And I thought, man, they don't have it. They don't. And when that happens, what they're going to do is they're going to say, sorry. That's what they did in the Great Depression, banks went belly up and people lost everything. And they was like, oh, sorry about that. You know, have a good day. That's it. It's over. It's kind of like the big scam we all just lived through that started in 2020. Remember all that? What happened to that? Oh, well, you know, mask and, oh yeah, sorry about that. It just happened, you know. Big, massive scam. I actually made a video about it. I like to talk about it all the time. I made a video about it as soon as it came out. The powers that be took me down in 8 minutes. YouTube channel, gone. That's for real. Facebook, professional Facebook page. Our real estate page where we had our rental properties, gone. Could not access it. Just in the blink of an eye. Still can't get on there. Nobody to talk to either. So this new digital age we live in, there's nobody to freaking talk to. It's like, hey, this isn't right. And they'll send you some little email that says, oh, well, you did something we didn't like, sorry. Keep your cards close to your vest. If you're thinking about investing in a company, if you're thinking about buying something, if you're, you know, I've learned a lot about business over these last couple of years. Business, being a good businessman means you make people wait. You don't just pay your bill as soon as they come in. Drag them out. I heard Robert Kiyosaki say that. I actually met him a couple times. I'm not going to talk about it. But he said that. He said, make them wait. Make everybody, you know, keep your money as long as you can. I'm not really, I would like to just, you know, pay what I owe people and move on. But the problem is the other businessmen that are making everybody wait will make you wait. Being a jam-up businessman isn't everything. I can promise you that. Hey, Chris, the amount of silver in a tomahawk missile is reported to be between 10 to 15 ounces. And it's primarily used in the ignition, battery, and solder. Thank you, Lee. I didn't, you know, I don't know, for one. I just had a hard time believing it was 500 ounces. I get most of my precious metals from crypto profits. That's awesome. Now a lot of they're getting really good. They've been really stepping up their game. And that's it. There's one more thing I want to mention to you before we go to any more questions. All right. Gold up by multiples. So an increase in gold demand, which is inevitable, right, can only be satisfied by a substantially higher gold price. Higher debt and inflation lead to falling currencies and a higher gold price. In addition, there is a substantial increase in demand from central banks. I've made several videos on what the central banks are doing. They were hitting records, hitting record numbers, right? And I was making videos saying, hey, this is the people that have all the money. They're buying gold. I'm not telling you to buy gold. I'm just telling you what they're doing. And then I forget who was the first. I think it was China. They quit all of a sudden. It was really strange. And now the prices are still going. There's no telling how much China has, by the way. China would lie when the truth would do better. They keep all the gold that comes in China, that is mined in China, and they buy a bunch of it from everywhere else. They know what's up. They're on the 100-year plan. They're not worried about the next election. The big players are selling their stocks. Man, is that the truth. You're so right, Blaine. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett's he's really been dumping them. And they were dumping them early. They do that. They can't do like we can. They can't just sell out real quick. They have to sell into strength. They have to sell when it's not at the tippy top. and that would really make them look bad. I was watching the politicians for a while, and the vast majority of my friends told me I should probably quit doing that. Yes, sir. Buffett is dumping it like crazy. Yeah, Buffett it. Thank you, Rooster. Charger Mopar's here. They have to. They're holding. I think, if I'm right, Warren Buffett's holding more cash than he ever has, and there's going to be buying opportunities in the future. And I do expect the stock market to go to all-time highs again. 100% melt up, all-time highs. If I imagine precious metal is going to rip a little bit in the election, and then something will happen. Trump will get in office, and then all they'll need is one good report to rip that baby to where everybody thought it would never go again, and pump the bubble up that much more. And then you're going to see other billionaires, Facebook, Zuckerberg, and all these other guys. Buffett's holding $300 billion in cash. Thanks, Blaine. I didn't remember the number, but that was a bigger one that I reported on. It's China and Chinese retail buyers that are going all in gold and silver. And China's also encouraging them. China encourages its citizens to get into precious metals. I don't know, that might be just so they can take it away from them later. That sounds right. But that is par for the course, 100%. Gold should never be bought as a speculative investment. The big investors, they don't really try to buy the bottom. I think Warren Buffett, when he first started out, he was buying companies that were down and building them up. And Charlie Munger talked him into buying, pretty decent companies and making profit that way. And that was, way easier. And I guess that's what they've been doing for a while. The real question is, what effect will Fed's input will do to the markets? I know for sure, without a doubt, at midnight, there's an algorithm that the central bankers turn on. They manipulate the market. It starts at midnight. Mark the midnight price out, New York time, midnight price, and see how the stock market returns to the tick all the time. That's not the only thing. There's 5 different algorithms: buy model, sell model, seek and destroy model. Can't remember the 2. And you can tell when they're at work. You can tell what's going on. I've learned too much, and now I know for sure what could possibly happen. Nobody knows anything for sure. But I know that if Trump gets in and he decides to pee in everybody's Cheerios like he's planning on, let's drain the swamp. The swamp is massive, and they control the money. That's the massive rug pull. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Accordio. Buffett was buying companies and stripping them. And Munger talked him out of it, I guess. The other way's better. Charlie, Buffett called Bitcoin rat poison. Remember that? I thought that was interesting. He's been selling poison, literal poison, in the form of Coca-Cola. In the form of high fructose corn syrup to the whole population. 100% poisonous to the human body. Illegal in Europe. Lee, Chris, that is how you get gap ups or gap downs in equities, pricing overnight. Yeah, I'm not talking, okay, I understand that, but I'm talking about futures. They shut down for an hour and then they're back on. And the midnight price, just mark out the midnight price on any gold, NASDAQ, as S&P 500, YM, Dow Jones, same thing. Mark out midnight price and see what'll happen. It's like a target. It's like a magnet, along with those gaps I tell you about. And 50% of the time, the gaps on the open get filled within the first 30 minutes of open. So that's something, if you could pin it down, you could probably make a living doing it. If if you could really figure it out. But take that information and kind of play with it. Check out ICT. He teaches a lot. Michael Huddleston. Smart money concepts. It's really interesting. I have not mastered it yet, but I'm 100% better. Now, let's see. Yeah, Buffett's in everything. Just like Dave Ramsey says, don't buy gold. I think he's got a ton of it. All these people that say they don't do stuff, whatever. They're in it one way or another. Mr. Eddie, it's a big club, and we ain't in it. When it comes to gold and silver and the stock market and all these other things that we talk about and bring up, the economy, what should happen? What should happen to this smoking pile of cards that are fogging the mirrors? It's, who was it? Mark Twain. Mark Twain said it. He said, and he did say ain't. Somebody called me out and said he didn't say ain't. It ain't what you don't know, it's what you do know that just ain't so. I thought that was a perfect fit. I've been piddling with precious metal stocks, really sketchy miners. They should go up. Even the bad ones should go up. It just ain't so. Precious metals, they should have been going up all along. But when you have this outside influence, the free market, this free market stuff, this capitalism stuff, we don't have capitalism anymore. We have crony capitalism. Hosea 4:6, you nailed it. Mark Twain saying? Does it say that in the Bible? It ain't what you don't know, it's what you do know that just ain't so? I don't remember that one. I'll check it out though. Remember that. Write that down, Stacey. All right. Am I prepping for civil unrest this week? Claire. Miss Claire, I don't really prep any more or any less at any given time. I made the mistake of running out and buying stuff when I was younger, at the first sign of a crash or anything, And I learned my lesson. The 2020, what happened when we entered the Thunderdome? The Thunderdome is anything post 2020. When the Thunderdome started, that was a warning to me, and I made videos about it. It was, hey, you should have been prepared for this for sure. Why wasn't I all the way prepared? And it's hard to get all the way prepared, but I meant like the freedom seeds I talk about all the time. Guys, I think that is the easiest way to make money. It's one of the easiest things you can do that has zero third-party risk. You can buy your seeds, and then when the thing happens, we know for 100% sure the thing will happen, whatever it is. Who knows? There's a bunch of black swans flying around, and a few of them probably got a wing injury. I mean, we're looking at some gnarly stuff. You keep it to protect yourself, or you can have had so much that you could sell it and you could triple your money, triple whatever it is. MNJ, send me a super chat. Hey, MNJ. Maranatha, okay. Got you. Can I give it a heart? This live thing started. It started different this time. Yeah, I decided to do a live today, off the cuff, because I miss talking to everybody. That's the main reason. Big Mike? That's still really funny. Big Mike. Man, she's got a hammer, I'm telling you. Now, there's one other thing I'll leave you guys with. I'll visit with you a little bit more in the comments. But no, I don't prep any more, any less. I do get lax, though. Do you get lax? Does anybody kind of get to where life just kind of goes on as normal and the big crash didn't happen and that's what they want. They want to keep us occupied with drugs and video games. That's from the World Economic Forum, that little pencil neck guy. Rule Harari, I don't know, Noah Harari, I don't know what his name is. Little Jewish pipsqueak that thinks he can create God from AI and we're all going to worship that. You know, I got a lot of news for that guy. But he was asked, well, what do we do with the plebs? That's how they talk about us when they're up there. When they're up there, you know, with their Petri dishes, mixing up the next concoction to see how it works, and giving orders to Bill Gates and whoever else, you go do this and you do that, and then they get really lax. I did a lot of looking into the WEF. The few, I like to call them the few, because there's things you can say on YouTube that it weighs the scales, you know. You talk about WEF too much, you're not going to get a notification. The few that want you to eat bugs on nothing have a big meeting and they get relaxed and they start talking kind of like you would around your friends that you wouldn't around other people. It's kind of like that old joke, take one Baptist fishing, he'll drink all your beer, and take two and nobody drinks beer. I can't believe I just remember that. That's it. No more reading. I'm not reading anymore. Just had a pound of burger. Hey, that's another one. If you think prepping's weird, man, just think about having a freezer slap full of beef that's, I'd say, literally twice as good as what you can buy at the store, probably 3 times for a better price. And you don't have to go to the store to get it. It's right there whenever you need it. I try to encourage people to take a little bit of the money they've made in the stock market and fill a freezer up. One time I had some Bitcoin. I still have a little bit. And it went way up, I got in real cheap and I didn't sell. That was back when I didn't know how to push the sell button. And then it came all the way back down again. And I thought, man, I could have been prepped to the hilt. We were sitting there in 2020, didn't know what was going on, and then I started learning about how Facebook and all these other people, everything they had to do with it. You'll learn that kind of stuff at the Red Pill. The Red Pill is really good. How it was spread and all this stuff. And I was thinking I could have put a high fence all the way around this place and really secured things. I've got a plan to where I got 2 big dogs now that they watch a monitor. And you have motion sensors, and the monitor's not on all the time, or maybe it's just a screen. And they're just hanging out in their little kennel or whatever, and a little red light pops up. And they know, because you trained them, go to the corner of the property, the red corner. Wouldn't that be cool? Have your dog set up on a motion sensor so they go check out whatever comes on your property? I didn't do a fence, but I do have some GPS collars coming. That way they can patrol the whole place. It's good for like 30 acres. And they're a little pricey, but I think that's a dog in the Thunderdome, a good dog, is going to be, it's going to be really nice. There's a lot of things that, man, I have so many notifications popping up. Is something going down? There's one thing I don't want to walk up on, and that is a big dog. It doesn't matter if it's friendly or not. You don't know the place, you don't know the people, you need to go knock on their door, but there's a big dog standing between you and the door. I'm out. That ain't it. Where's Rusty? Rusty, come! If you guys hadn't met Rusty, he's the bomb. It's a deer tracking machine. He bayed a pig too. Did you see him bay the pig? Come, Rusty, come. Okay, Rusty first. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here, Rusty boy. Oh, this is Rusty boy. And we don't know what he is, but he's a good puppy. And he doesn't know what he's doing. He's like, you don't ever pick me up and show me like this. Well, he's gonna be a good dog. He's really doing good. And Freedom is my nephew's dog. And she's 4 months and she's got feet like she's wearing boots. So big. Champion duck dog. Blood. 100% champion. Isn't that right? Big gangly puppy. But look at the paws on that unit. Yeah. Big paws, big dog. Rusty watches the driveway every day. He just sits there and watches the driveway. And somebody comes down it, the hair stands on the back of his neck and head, all across his back. I don't know, I've never had a dog that did that. Thank you, Electrical Prepper. Them paws, look at them paws. Now they're gonna come out here and make a bunch of noise and knock the camera over. They tear up everything. I mean, what they don't eat, they crap on. They're in that stage where they just, it's a nightmare. Anything else? Yes, she's going to be a big girl. Rusty's got his work cut out for him because right now he can kind of push her around, but that's going to end. They play nonstop. I hope they don't make too much noise. And Skippy's here. He's kind of old news. Kind of old. He's moved down the bench for the new dogs. All right, guys. Is there any? How's the floating dock? Do you mean the floating pool? The floating pool. For you guys that made it to the end of the live stream, I would like to tell you about the floating pool. It's never been done before. I don't know anybody that's done it. I have not been able to get on it. I had a bunch of work show up, which is good, so I've had to do that. It's 30 by 40, I think that's right. Yeah, 30 by 40. Real close. It's got a 5-foot walkway all the way around it. It floats on barrels. Big hole in the middle. I got it on here. I can show it to you. I drew it up in 3D. This was not part of tonight. But you can see me right there. Get out of the way. So that's going to be floating in the pond. And the barrels are under here. This is a skirt that goes down to the floor of the pond. Okay. These are bench seats with planters. There's going to be one over here and one over there. And the water, I don't know if I drew it up a couple times. I don't know if I got a better one. The water from the pond, the mass water filter that I'll make a video on it. I've already made the charcoal, the activated charcoal, what do they call it? Activated charcoal keel, that's what it's called. A keel so you can make drinking water. Charcoal makes drinking water. It goes through Stacey's planters. I'm building her some planters so she can have her flowers and any kind of aquatic thing she wants. It goes through there and then it'll go under here, and under here will be another barrel full of sand. I'm not sure exactly how to do it. Rock, I thought I had rock in the planter, but so you have water coming in, it goes through there into rock or sand, and then through charcoal, and then it goes into the pool. So it'll be crystal clear drinking water. It'll be swimming in drinking water. And thank you, MNJ. Yes, I will be putting that on Taylor Welding. I will be putting on Financial Prepper too. That's going to be a lot of fun. And it's a really good way to make a lot of water. Solar pump. So you're pumping water when the sun comes out. When it's not out, it doesn't pump. I've got it set up. When it's out, it just runs to the pump. Right now, it's just, I'm just seeing how long the pump works. And so far, it's doing really good. It's a 100% Chinesium, so I wasn't sure. Later on, I'll get a United States-made pump, I hope. But in the short term, I just want to see if this, proof of concept will work. But it's going to be worth watching just to have the water filter. Super simple. Plastic barrels. I'm not sure. You'd want to keep them out of the sun. The degrade might mess up your drinking water. You might want to get something other than, regular white plastic barrels. But they are cheap, and the only thing they've had in them is soap, and they're $7. I think I made a short, like, hey, get a barrel or two. You could line it with something and store whatever you want. Good night, electrical prepper. That's a good idea. I think I'm going to log off. The dogs are actually, hey, stop. Dogs are actually starting to mess with me. So, have an awesome, awesome day. I'll see you in the next one. Later.